Hi, everybody. If everyone can hear, we're just getting, letting everybody into the room. We'll give everyone a minute. And Varaya, you can let me know when I can get started, when everything's all set up to go.
No problem. All right, well, we don't have anyone else in the waiting room, so I think you could get started.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Thank you all for joining today. We know that this is in the middle of some of your day, so we appreciate you taking time to join us today. Just a few things to get us started. We're going to be walking you through some new items, some exciting things. As you probably have realized at this point, everyone is muted. Obviously, we do that so that we don't have background noise and hear phones ringing and dogs barking during the presentation. But we definitely want this to be interactive. So if you have a question about the presentation, if we're talking about something that you want to know more about, feel free to put that in the chat. If we have some time at the end, we'll be taking a couple of questions. So how that's going to work, you send it in a chat. Maria is going to aggregate those and see what we have time for towards the end. I just want to make mention, obviously, there's a lot of you that are on the call. If we don't get through all of the questions, Glenn and I and the team will have a look and we'll make sure that the question gets answered, even if it's after the presentation today. We have Glenn joining by phone today. He's going to kick off the meeting and take you through some great stuff, global stuff for the whole franchisee community. And then he's going to turn it back over to me, and we're going to share some research with you and talk about some new initiatives that are happening before the end of the year. So without further ado, Glenn, I'm going to turn it over to you and move to the next slide. So thanks everybody for joining. I'm really excited to share all this with you today.
Thank you, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Thank you for being part of the virtual meeting. I'm not going to bore you with the details why you can't see me, but you can't. Hopefully I'll be seeing you all very soon. Nevertheless, I'm humbled and really excited to share where we are as a company. And just as important, I wanted to congratulate all of you on the amazing job that you've done over the past 18 months. Believe it or not, it has been 18 months. And in spite of layoffs, pay cuts, mandates, civil unrest, destruction of our stores, all the landlord battles, product shortages, sicknesses, both personally and in your families, and unfortunately and horribly, we had some deaths that took place within our community, and people have lost mothers, and fathers, and siblings. My condolences go out to each one of you. We're with you. We've always been with you. We're with you in prayer. In spite of it all, EVI as a whole, and most of you individually and certainly collectively, came out of this mess stronger than ever. Not without scars, not without some fears that you had to battle, not without sadness. Those will remain, but we don't want to focus on the negative. We want to look to what the future is and the positive and what you have been able to accomplish. On the business side, all of you stared this pandemic down, and with your resilience and your ingenuity, you weren't paralyzed, and you overcame a lot of obstacles. You overcame a lot of fears, and I can tell you, and I'm going to share with you, you won. You won. Not that there's still a lot to look, there's not a lot of work for us to do. Not that there's not adversity that we still have to face ahead of us. But I'm confident that the worst is behind us. And if we stand together as we have, we can handle anything that comes our way. So thank you. Thanks to all the people in the franchise group. You've done an amazing job. I want to thank everyone at our corporate office that, again, has gone through a lot to get to where we are today, for all their hard work, for all the travel they put in when people weren't traveling. To EGC for their partnership and for standing behind us and with us through this whole thing. When I look at the numbers, they are beyond impressive. So let me share with you why I'm so thankful, not only for you as people and why I'm so optimistic because of what you've done, but let me share with you some of the numbers. Keep in mind that our company has had 11 years of comp store growth. So when you see these numbers, understand that we never had a bad year. And you're going to see the growth in regions and in individual locations that, like I said, are hard to believe and certainly uncommon in the industry. Keep in mind also that we are not comparing to 2020 when we look at 2021. That would be way too easy, because if you compare $0 to $10, you're doing pretty good. We're looking at 2021 to 2019. But let me tell you, when we look at every single month, as we compare 2020 to 2019, where there was a comp, you guys crushed the numbers. 7 months, every month we were up. There were 5 months you could not have comps. So that's why we took the hard road, and we're comparing our numbers to 2019. So look at this. The first slides you're seeing are your regions. Long Island, up 16%. You can see them. The Mid-Atlantic region, up 12%. Midwest, up 12%. New York Metro, up 3%. Cypress Rise, Northern California, up 3%. Philadelphia, up 1%. Upstate New York, up 5%. And our isolated regions, up 13%. Keep in mind that our two biggest regions, New York Metro, actually 3, Long Island, and Northern California, were the regions that were hit hardest by the pandemic, hit hardest with mandates. I'm not going to get into politics, but basically the political situation shut these markets down. People are still not back to work in cities, basically in San Francisco, and yet you turn these numbers. Congratulations. Thank you. It's quite amazing. Let's look at the next slide and look at some individual locations. On Long Island, Dr. Hoffman, store 11, up 18%. Keep in mind, this is a high volume location to begin with. Store 250, Arson Lindbergh, up 60%. Keep in mind that he took this store basically from nothing and has created another monster. Raj and Anita Debadat in store 318, Islandia, that is not a misprint, up 136%. It's gone from a $500,000 store to over $1 million. Congratulations. Let's look at the next slide. The Mid-Atlantic region. Lolita Munier, store 17. You saw her on our last video call. She was one of the ladies that spoke about what she had done and how she had overcome the adversity that was put in her way. So she's been up for the past 3 years, and yet again, she's up 15%. Dr. Matthew Pesta, store 164, Laval, up 41%. Lisa Hania, another lady that was on the call earlier in last year, store 279, Waldorf, she's increased this store by hundreds of thousands since she took it over, up 22%. Unbelievable. Next slide, please. The Midwest, Dr. Paul DeLakis in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You also saw him on our last video call. But he's keeping it going after being up ridiculous numbers in 2020 and 2019. He's up again 53%. Dr. Erickson in Minot, a very small town in North Dakota, up 23%. Kelsey Butts in Bismarck, up 63%. And you all know Dr. Chrysler and Dr. Prasad, their store, one of their stores in Fargo is up 18%. They've overcome great obstacles, whether it be putting in more hours, doing whatever's necessary. One of the major things we'll talk about is how involved these key stores are throughout the country are with EGC and the initiatives that we've put into place. Realize that in 2020, we only were taking 1% of your dollars for marketing, and still those 7 months, we crushed 2019. And we've gradually brought it back to where we are now, and the company is stronger than ever. We're going to look at the other regions now, and you're going to see the same thing over and over again. So Jamie, if you go to the next slide. New York Metro, again, basically shut down for the longest period of time. Store 10 is well over $1 million location. It's up 34%. Store 22, which is Nick and Canella in Nanuet. We all know Nick and Canella. They've been with us forever, but it's great to see their store up 30%. Renata Nanetti building a new store during the pandemic, and she's up 67%. You heard her story, and I'm sure she'll be happy to share it again anytime you want to talk to her. She's done an amazing job. Raj and Anita, again, they're like a machine. Their Ridge store 443 is up 29%. And it's great to see Elvia and Jay in West New York in store 362 up to the level that they are of 22%. Great job, guys. So much adversity in the New York City area, as there is here in this region. Northern California took the longest because of the mandates and the political situation and people not being back to work and working remotely. Nick Saab, very close to the city, but store 509 West Portal up 30%. Again, this is a store that's well over $1 million. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Steve Seuss is up in Eureka. A lot of people don't even know where Eureka is, but if you go about a few feet more, you're going to be in Oregon. He's up there, and he has telemedicine, and he doesn't have a doctor. And he was up last year, and he's up again this year, 14%. He's done an amazing job. Teresa Toe up 21% in Cupertino. FAT, a fairly new franchisee, up 17%. Donovan Knight, I can't see it because my screen is cutting it off. So Jamie, Donovan's up.
I think that's up 30. Is it? Mine's screen cut off too with a
31.
It's a lot.
31%.
Ashraf and Motion are up 15% in Los Gatos. Rudy and Anita Carver, again, in a remote town, up 20%. This is all over the board. This isn't just the city. This is the suburbs. This next one is incredible. Anita Silva is a new franchisee, took over Fillmore at the worst time. Fillmore is considered downtown San Francisco. Yeah, it's not in the financial district, but still the homeless, the crime. She's done an amazing job, up 38%. Congratulations, Anita, and welcome to the group. Ilian and Salinas, up 25%. Lynn Tillman, again, it's cut off, but I know she's up a lot. And Andy Wynn.
48% for Lynn.
48%. And Andy Wynn is up, I think, 30-something or high 20s, if I remember correctly.
33 for Andy.
33. Congratulations, guys. All of you. Amazing job. Philadelphia, there's not a lot of locations here, but Vance Brewington leads the way. And he is up 23%. There's others in that region that are up because the entire region is up. And congratulations to Vance. Hopefully we'll see you soon, Vance, at a meeting. It's only been 10 years since we've seen you. We want to see your face again. But thank you for the great job that you've done. Upstate New York, talk about adversity. Store 30, Dr. Honeyman, up 29%. Alan Rifkin took over Rochester and he's taken off. He's up 13%. Winnie Flood, amazing job again and again after 2 or 3 years of amazing numbers. Up 43%. Dr. Honeyman again up 14%. And Evan Borzak, same team in West Seneca, up 31%. If you follow the trends in retail and you see how many companies have gone bankrupt, they're gone. And we talk about this year after year. These numbers that you're seeing are amazing. You guys have just done an incredible job. The resiliency, the fortitude, the ingenuity that I said, that recreating yourselves, the hard work, just amazing. Thank you. And next, we will have, I believe, our isolated region. Isolated because these stores really have no other stores around them. They got to do what they need to do on their own. Mike Donahoe in Delaware, it's basically a tourist town. But again, he's up 16%. Joel Meepath and Dr. Lisa Adams, you know them. They're at every meeting. St. Croix and St. Thomas were hit hard, very, very hard by the pandemic. There is no infrastructure there. They can't handle it at the hospitals. And they were still up 9% in a store that does well over $2 million. And store 687, St. Thomas, they actually remodeled it during the pandemic. Now that's either crazy or confident or a lot of things that we can say, but I got to tell you, I give them all the credit in the world for taking that on, doing that during the pandemic. St. Thomas is dependent on cruise ships. You know there's no cruise ships coming in. To this day, it's very small amount. St. Thomas was devastated, yet they sunk a lot of money into their location as they had done in St. Croix the year before, and they're seeing such a positive result from that. The community has embraced them. They've embraced their community. It's up 43%. They still gave out scholarships this year to 15 young individuals for college, and this is something they've done over the past 20 years. And they are so embedded in the community, it's like family, but they invest their money, they invest their time, and they have done things, like I said, that most people would have feared to do during the pandemic, and they're seeing the results of it. So these are the regions. If you go to the next slide, and you've heard about these individual locations now, you know, what do they all have in common? And you've been hearing us preach this forever. The top 10 stores, the top 10 franchisees typically attend all the meetings. They engage with emerging Vision, EGC, and our vendor partners. They always have fresh POP and their stores look immaculate. Their willingness to trust and try new things. You don't get to 11 years, going on 12, and we will do it, of comp store growth unless there's a willingness to try new things. I learn something new every day, and I listen to people and their suggestions. And we have a marketing agency that's helped us get to where we are today and will help to continue to move us forward. And we need everybody to trust in the process. And every year, more and more people do that. And every year, our sales as a group continue to go up. Active participant with reputation management, so important. They keep their staff enthusiastic with great attitudes, and they are held accountable. The Freilicks have been on top of their game for years and years. And Heather is a tough franchisee. Very, very, very fair, but she holds her people accountable. If you don't get a good phone survey, you're going to hear about it. Some of our stores that are doing the poorest, they don't even pay attention to the phone surveys. They don't pay attention to their reputation management. Our most successful stores are involved in all of this. And then just as important, and this is what you see during adversity and during the pandemic, we have a group of fighters. People that will not give up or be defeated. Amazing job, guys. Thank you. It's an honor.
Thanks, Glenn. Thank you for that. So again, congratulations, guys. I know that a lot of these numbers are completely unbelievable. You guys have done a tremendous job, and from us at EGC, it's just great working with you for all these years. My portion of the meeting, the first bit, is to take you through some research. And what's so crazy about COVID, or one of the things that's crazy about COVID, is just how every day, every week, every month, every year, when we chat about it over the last 18 months, it's constantly changing. I had a conversation with Varela yesterday about including the words post-COVID, where when we were putting this research together, felt like it was post-COVID. And now here we are with the Delta variant and new restrictions and kids going back to school and still wearing masks, that it feels like, you know, are we truly out of it? So my thought is that the perception of consumers and the perception of most is that they're ready to get back to normal, whatever that new normal is. And I feel like people have experienced being shut down, and that's not going to happen again. People are going to shop with masks or without masks. People are sending their kids back to school. But part of what we're looking to do is to really hone in on consumers. What about their journey has changed? What about their shopping habits has changed? And how do we take that and help us to have another year like we did last year and this year? So looking ahead, this is research that was conducted and put together by EGC. I just want to be clear that this isn't specific to eye care, but it is specific to, consumers, which obviously that is really important to us. So one of the findings that came out of the research is that there is a decline in in-store browsing. So I know during the height of the pandemic, people were fearful to be in the store. You had a list, you went in, you were as quick as you possibly could be, and then you were out. What that has, changed about moving forward is that people are really kind of liking that they're not going in and spending a ton of time in the store. They're actually focused on what they came there to do. They're going in, they're doing that, and then they're getting out of the location. So this is something that definitely started in the height of the pandemic, but that we're seeing as a shopping trend moving forward. So it's interesting to see that 80% of retailers reported that customers browse less and spend half the time in their stores than they used to. So when I see anything like this, I want each of you to be thinking about, so what does this insight mean for my location? So what I would say, is it finding out what they're looking for when they're booking an appointment? Are there brands that you could have pulled and at the ready? Are there ways that you can maximize your displays to make that shopping experience quicker and getting them to what they're looking for faster? So again, this doesn't mean, all things for each of the locations, but it's just meant for you to take this insight and think about what that means at the store and to talk about it with your staff. This to me is incredible. So basically, when we would talk about the customer journey, and we always shared that funnel. So it's people having a need, people sort of identifying what locations are within their consideration set, people looking at offers, people looking at reviews. And what we're seeing is that people really identified with all these steps to make a conversion. And again, what you guys do when you think about what your average sale is for the store, that's more research that people put in than buying a gallon of milk. Most people aren't going to do any research for that. They just go, they get it. With the purchase of eyeglasses, with booking of an eye exam, more research is involved. But what's interesting post-COVID and with consumer behavior, consumers are converting faster. So what that means is they identify they want to go to site, they're going to go to the Site to Storei's website, and they're going to book an appointment online. What we're finding is that there's less interactions to get to that appointment, to get to that conversion. So really all that means is that people are doing a little bit less of that comparison shopping, and they're quicker to determine who they want to work with and making the appointment. Additionally, one thing that has come out of the pandemic is that people are testing out different shopping methods. I'm sure all of you have experienced, if you hadn't before, how much now it could be delivered to your front door. So people utilizing DoorDash and delivery services, Amazon shares and profits have gone through the roof of just everyone ordering straight from Amazon. You have Prime, it's at your door in 2 days. I mean, it's a huge convenience to consumers. What's also different is that people have been more open during the pandemic to try new brands and things that they have never heard of or companies they haven't worked with. To me, the word I'm seeing blinking as I read that to you is prospecting. You guys do such a great job with your existing customers, your CRM emails, and all of that. But now is the time to get your name out in front of people that you haven't worked with before. So think about that for your location. Is it adding a prospecting email? Is it doing something digitally like a billboard or a banner to get in front of new customers? And then last but not least, these practices are something that people are going to continue with over in the future, past COVID. that they love this convenience, they love this different way of shopping. Again, think about what that means for your location. We introduced years ago the My Stylist program, where people can make an appointment where your staff, based on a few questions, has selected a few things for them to look at that are ready when they come in. And I think that that's such an important thing, that in store, you're constantly thinking about ways to make that consumer experience better. Because guys, that is what's going to differentiate you from somebody shopping online. It's the in-person, in-store, the high-touch experience that they have with the doctor. It's the optician helping them find the perfect frame and the best lenses. So always continue to think about ways that you can maximize that experience. Last but not least, we're seeing that, everybody is about community and local support these days. I can speak for myself and where I live that there was this rally cry during shutdown to just help these loved locations that are in our neighborhood, and people were buying gift cards if they didn't have a need to help support the store. They were, getting takeout where they could to help local restaurants. So really now is the time, if you haven't already, think about ways that you could truly embrace your community and sort of be ingrained in what's happening locally. People want to keep their money local, and people want to support local businesses. So again, this is just sharing as, ways of, how do I make this benefit my store? How do I really get involved locally, that people feel like I'm a part of this community and in turn want to shop with me? So to me, I think research is always sort of the basis of new thinking, a new approach. What can we learn that's going to help us be smarter, more effective, more efficient moving forward? So we met with Glenn and talked about what would be some of the initiatives and things that are most important to us as we come out of the pandemic, that we embrace this new consumer, we embrace this new way of thinking and convenience. So one of the things that we're going to be developing and doing over the next several weeks is a consumer survey. Now, to me, what I think is so incredibly useful and exciting about this is we're going to be developing a Sight for Sore Eyes survey and a Sterling Optical survey. These questions are going to be deployed to our CRM list. So I just want to be clear about the difference. What I just shared with you are consumer trends that EGC has aggregated over multiple resources. What we're doing here is going to be specific to your location, and the viewer, the user, the recipient is going to have the option to select the store. So down to the most granular level, we're going to be able to get insights to help support your location. Now, we're going to be asking things like, what brands do you want to see? What offers do you like? But more importantly, we want to dive deep and find out what are the elements of this in-person customer experience that keeps you coming back to our store? What do you like the most? What would you like to see different? And we're really, really excited about this initiative. We're working on the questions. If you guys have anything that you would like to see, anything about your location that you would love to get some insight on, feel free to share that with myself or Varaya. We can't obviously accommodate every single question, but if you have a thought on something that you've learned, you'd like to learn from the research, that would be wonderful. So the next step here, we're going to send that out to the consumers in our CRM list. We're going to aggregate all of the responses. We're going to put that into a wonderful, informative presentation that we're going to share with you guys closer to the end of the year. So that's first. Next, the other thing that we're really excited to share, we talked about doing a creative refresh. And when we first spoke about this with Glenn and Kathy, we all said the same thing, that this look and feel that we currently have, it's always felt fresh and modern. I mean, we utilize great images. We have this modular approach. So if a store has 2 offers or 5 offers, this creative setup could accommodate it. So we went back to the creative team and kind of challenged them, how do we keep the things about this campaign and the tagline "Fashion for Everyone" that we love so much, but still make it feel fresh and new and look great at the stores? So the team, kind of developed this look and feel that I'm going to share. We're really excited about it. You guys are going to be seeing this in your emails and print work and all of the website and digital stuff that we do for you. So first and foremost, we looked at the fonts, which is another way to say lettering, and the color palette. So really the trend right here are deep earth tones. You guys can probably see that from your Instagram for, different things that you follow. So we're integrating these beautiful tones into the creative, and we're also bringing in this beige tone for signage and different things, which just looks absolutely beautiful when it's done. So that's first, we're updating the fonts. We're creating a wider library of images and using more lifestyle. The Fashion for Everyone tagline was created, I don't know if it was 8 years ago, maybe less than that, but it was created a while ago. And to me, what I think is so special about this line is because it means different things for the various brands. When I think about Sight for Sore Eyes and Fashion for Everyone, I think about you guys have these different locations, as Glenn said. You have Eureka and Reading that are outside of the city. You have locations that are downtown San Francisco. You have these, Napa Valley. You have these great spots. So to me, that means regardless of which location you're going for, that store is going to be suited for that demographic. They're going to have the frames you want to see. For Sterling, to me, it presents a little bit more of a value message, a family-oriented message that you go into our locations regardless of your budget, regardless of, the look that you're going for. If it's somebody that's an older demo or a child, we're going to have something that you're going to leave looking fantastic and feeling great. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that as we talk about the creative, because I feel like that really holds true for the brands and certainly as like the retail aspect of what we do. And these images really convey that. So we're going to continue to utilize a broad image library. And certainly for your location, if you have other things that you'd like to see for your store, we absolutely can look at that for you. I know we get a lot of feedback from locations as far as like, older, younger, ethnicity, so on and so forth. So we're always willing to work with you on that to make sure that we're getting the demo just right. Additionally, we're incorporating the new colors, the fonts into that modular look and feel. So we know that, it's one of those things, like we know from the numbers, we know from the email click-through rates and open rates, we know that this is very well received, this modular look and feel. So we're keeping with similar layouts. You could see here just how amazing it looks with the new colors. And then if you look at the bottom of the screen, we wanted for the POP, because we know a lot of locations currently have black with white lettering, and some of you have that like poppy red color. We wanted to introduce POP that wouldn't feel foreign in the store. So you could see here, the new POP look works great with a solid sign with text. So, we hope that everybody loves this new look and feel. We're really, really excited about it. moving forward, and we're looking forward for you guys to see it and to get some feedback on it. So those were the things that I had to share. Varia, I don't know if there was anything that came through on the chat that we wanted to go over, or Glenn, if you had any closing remarks or anything else that you wanted to mention. We have about 15 minutes left.
There's nothing in the chat. You're welcome to put in any questions or comments you have there.
Okay. Sorry, Glenn, go ahead.
No, I'm good. I think that if there are questions that are global, that we certainly can answer them. If they're just about your location or one location, those should be handled offline. But we're certainly here to answer any questions that might help the entire group for the next 10 minutes or so, if you'd like to ask questions.
Okay, so we'll give 30 seconds to see if anyone has a question. And just to reiterate, everybody knows how to find Glenn, everybody knows how to find me and Varia. We also added a marketing coordinator, Leah Kim, to our wonderful team at EGC, and she's been amazing. So you'll definitely see emails from Leah. She's helping Varia and I with the trafficking of ads and emails and a bunch of other activities. So, oh, there she is. Hi. So we love Leah. We welcome her to the team, and we're excited for her to get the opportunity to meet you in person. She's actually met a lot of you during planning calls and things like that. Another just kind of piece of info for the Sterling team, I'm going to send out another link for a calendar invite for planning. If you want to just put your store number in a time slot that works for you, I'm going to be sending that out for calls next week. So Ray, I'll turn it back to you to see if there's anything that came in through the chat, or if we can end a little bit early and get everyone back on the floor.
There's a question about Facebook pages and Instagram. I think that will give us the opportunity to talk about the social media program if you want to take that on.
Sure. Was there a specific question, or just wanted more information about that?
I think just if you could provide the general information, I think that would answer a lot of the questions.
Sure, absolutely. So our last virtual meeting, we had talked about a new initiative with Facebook and Instagram. So historically, the feedback as it relates to location pages was that we sort of shied away from that. And the reason is that what we found, people posted very different things, very different, messages, different looks and feels to things, so that it sort of deviated away from our, holistic approach, the way that the brand looks and sounds and feels, the images that we use, the brands that we promote, so on and so forth. But we can't deny the SEO value and the low cost of advertising on Facebook and Instagram. So what we kind of came up with is that for a very low monthly cost of $200 a month, we can at EGC either take over ownership of your page and just administrative access, where we'll do about 4 posts a month that include, designed, well-written, the perfect hashtags and all of that we take over the postings for your location. In addition to that, we could add a layer of Facebook ads to that. So I just wanted to make mention of that because a lot of the stores are interested in that. So just to be clear, if you have a Facebook presence, we can be the administrator on the page to help fix it up, to do content, and then certainly invite you to add local flavor and things that are happening on the page itself. If you've never done Facebook before, we're happy to start a page for you, to do the creative, help you get it set up, because we always feel like this is the sort of thing that, you guys are so busy running a location. you don't have time for that. And that's what we do all day, every day. So we're happy to help with that. And again, it's only $200 a month. So it's sort of a no-brainer for people that are interested. Anything else, Brea, or was that it on the questions?
We have a question about the reputation management and how to work on that.
So our recommendation, regardless of the platform, and you guys all have access to that based on the local digital program. So how that works, if you are receiving updates from Yelp, if you're receiving updates from Google My Business, and you see reviews coming through, we want to make sure that each and every comment, regardless if it's a 5-star review or a 1-star review, because we know that the majority is going to be one or the other, that those are being acknowledged and responded to. So for example, if you get a 5-star review, it takes, a minute to go in and say, hey, thanks for your review. We look forward to welcoming you again. If it's a 1-star review, obviously that's going to take a little bit more, and it's going to be sorting out what happened and identifying that. What I do want to mention about the program that we did was for locations that don't feel comfortable with that or aren't interested in doing that, for $150 a month, we take it on for you. Because you're part of the local digital program and Yext is an element of that, Varaya and I see every single review for every single store. So if that's something you want to take on, I know a lot of people are kind of hesitant to, respond to something negative or don't have the time to go into the platforms and respond. That's something that we can do for you.
Another question we have, a popular one, of course, e-commerce.
Yeah, so with e-commerce, we are just about ready to launch our test site. Almost everything is in place. We will be doing the testing in our Atlanta locations at the iGallery. What we've established so far is pretty impressive, and we're very excited about it. So within, I'd say, the next 2 months, we'll get most of the kinks ironed out, and we'll be ready to introduce it to the franchise community. We recognize, especially with what happened during the pandemic, that e-commerce is very, very important, and we need to have that as part of our toolbox. And our IT team and a number of other individuals have been working on it diligently. So like I said, the test market will begin within the next 7 to 10 days.
Okay, great. So we're about out of time. Certainly, if there's anything that we didn't answer during the call, please feel free to send an email, or Varaya will share with us everything in the chat, and we'll go from there. Again, thank you so much from the EGC team. It's just been great getting back up to speed with you guys and bringing on these new initiatives and new creative. We hope you love it as much as we do. We're really, really excited for the research and sharing those insights with you. And Glenn, I don't know if you have anything else to say or if we're good to say goodbye.
No, I'm good. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and look forward to seeing you all in person very, very soon.
Yes, and good to see all of your faces, guys. Be well, everybody.
Feel free to oh, wait, I don't even know if I could unmute everyone, but.
Oh, bye.
Bye, everyone.